um, some zentangles here. Just like this. And I'm going to make them a little bit wider because of the fact that I haven't practiced with this one as much. And so what I want to do is put some circles in here and color in the circles. So we've got a thing going on here that looks like leaves. And I'm using cardstock. That's from a leftover food carton, which I think is a great way to recycle things. Okay, so I'm going to go in this direction like this. And so we can kind of do it however we want to. Oh, it almost looks like a dove, doesn't it? It really does. Oh my goodness. Maybe I should just leave it like this. Okay, so I'm going to get started here. And I'm going to draw some circles here like this. Okay, so I wanted to do a clip here. Okay. Okay, so now I need to color in these little areas right here. So we're just coloring in between. Now I made mine big because I don't have a fine tip pen here. And so I'm just coloring in the lines like this. Like that. Coloring in up here. Like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. I think I'm going to try and leave a little bit more room to color in instead of making the circles so extra large. And then that way I can color in more, because that's kind of the object of this one, is to color in with the pen and not have any lines that we have or that we see right now. Okay. So we've got, oh yeah, that is a bird. Perfect. I didn't even think of that, but it really is a bird. Let me do this right here in this part. I'll make an eye. I'll just make something that is kind of unusual so it stands out a little bit more. I think I'm going to do this and then just make some smaller circles like this. See, they don't have to all be touching, so that gives us a little bit more room here to color in here like that. Okay. So we've got some extra room in here. We could even do this with a heart too if we wanted to. I think I'm going to do a circle right here, and then I'm just going to color the rest of this in because it's kind of thin. So I'm just going to color it in like this. We'll do it like that. Now if I wanted to, I could probably make a little beak. I don't want to stray too far away. I'm going to leave like a little beak mouth type thingy here, like that. Something that looks sort of like a mouth. Oh, that looks really, really good. I could add on an additional wing. I'm thinking about it, but I'm going to just work on these parts right now. So I'm just adding these in. Now I'm going to color down this direction like that. So I've got this little part in here. We're just going to color some of this in like that. Now when my video is unlisted like this and I'm doing a live stream, I don't get a clip. So I think that should tell us all something, that there's another entity or force that is watching our videos to do the clip, because AI doesn't automatically do a clip from unlisted videos, which is kind of interesting, I'm finding. I thought maybe at least I would get an AI clip. I thought I would get an AI clip while I'm doing this unlisted. But no, I'm not. Maybe I should make it public See, I can go in and make it public now. And then for a little bit. See, I think it takes up less bandwidth when I'm doing this by myself. Then I don't have the pull of the other comments. I'm not even sure that it takes up that much bandwidth to begin with. But I know with the cellular phone, it just lags and lags and lags. You know, so you have to be on a steady type of service of some sort to be able to do this, because if you're not, there goes your business. Now I don't have a business, actually. I was just trying to get mine to be a business again, but so I could maybe get going somewhere, but we'll see. You know, in the meantime, what else have I got to do, right? What else have I got to do? And so I'm just doing some little ideas here, and I'm going to turn this into a photo to video a little bit later. I think I'll have fun with that. It kind of almost looks like a chameleon. Let me go over here. I'm gonna take this. I am going to take this public, because I've been recording for 11 minutes, 12 minutes here now, private, just completely private, unlisted actually. Yeah, unlisted, private, kind of the same thing. Okay, where am I at? I should have, okay, let me go right here. Okay, now I'm gonna move it over here. I can't literally do private. What does it say here? It says private is unavailable when going live from mobile unlisted. It's recommended for testing your stream. Okay, so I guess I could go private from my desktop laptop, but I can't actually even record from that, so the camera's not even working on it, so a lot of things aren't even working on it on the desktop version. Okay, we're gonna go public now. And let me see how long it takes before somebody shows up in here. It'll be kind of fun to see. Going about this a little bit different way. And I just have to kind of remember to not respond. Right? Right. Okay, let's color this part in right here. Okay. Hey, I have one person here. Let's see who this is. Jocelyn Dominguez. Jocelyn, hopefully I said that right. I'm looking at it sideways, so maybe I didn't say it right. Hello, everyone. We are working on circles here. We are working on circles, and we're doing some abstract art here. It looks sort of like a lizard. And so this is what we're working on right now and we're gonna send it a little bit later. We're gonna do photo to video is what we're going to do. It's hard for me to see the comments right now because yes, we're working on circles. Yeah, kind of like crop circles. We're We're doing, do you see all these? Let me put it up here closer. Do you see all these circles here? And it looks sort of like a dove or a chameleon. The face looks like a bird. And so I was thinking of adding another wing, like right through here or down here. I'm not sure which. And so I'm going to keep coloring on this, and you guys can discuss and amongst yourselves. Discuss amongst yourselves. That sounds about right for me. Saying something that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And okay, and so I'm coloring in around the circles. I left some spaces around the circles here. And I will say one thing I've noticed too, maybe the rest of you notice this too if you do live streams, that you don't get a clip. You don't get an automatic clip unless you're live. So I'm not sure what the entity is, unless it's the AI just doesn't come and visit you because it's an unlisted video. So I started this video about 12 minutes before I made it live. So I've been coloring on it for about 12 minutes. And then I made it live. And so I know I made a video earlier that said probably the best way to keep my live stream decent is to actually make it unlisted. And I do make a lot of unlisted videos, because that way I can't really see the comments right now anyway, because they'll be sideways. Let's see here. Why, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Do you like it this way, or should I add another wing to it? And so I left a little mouth right here too. I left a little opening right there kind of for a mouth. I made this look sort of like an eye. And then I'm going to, a little bit later, I'm going to do photo to video. And I think young folks would actually like the photo to video. That's what I think. That's something I like. And so you can draw whatever you want. I love the photo to video because it creates an animation from your artwork no matter what it is. And you can make the most ridiculous little creature that you want to, your most ridiculous little creature, stick figure, whatever it is, and just kind of have fun with it. And so this is what I'm working on right now, is this little simple creature here out of zentangles. And that's what I got right there. A wing of a angel. Oh, it could be yeah, it can be anything you want it to be. That's what artwork, a lot of artists, they actually will not say what they want their artwork to be. They don't talk about the artwork. They'll just say they're doing something. And so they leave it up to the eye of whoever's looking at it to be whatever. So it's sort of like those movies where you have a movie that has an end that seems unfinished. It's kind of like soap operas. Now, soap operas, though, they've gotten ridiculous. But there's movies. At one time we had movies, and the movie just ended for you to imagine of what you wanted to happen with the people at the end of the movie, so it didn't have a clear ending. So if there was a couple that was together at the end of the movie, then you could think, well, they went on and lived happily ever after, which that's something most women think about. They went and lived happily ever after. Well, maybe a guy might think, well, they went off on their merry separate ways. Now, one of my favorite movies that I always liked, I loved the movie The Bridges of Madison County. And it was, Clint Eastwood. He was a lot older than Meryl Streep. So she had an accent. And so she was from And um, so Clint Eastwood, oh, you have to have 50 subscribers to live stream. So you just have to go out and get 50 subscribers to live stream. So Clint Eastwood, well, okay, he was a National Geographic photographer. So I don't know if that was an advertisement for National Geographic or not, but this was a story. So she was the I don't even remember, Meryl Streep. She was a farm wife up in Madison. I don't know if she was in Madison County, but she was near the bridges of Madison County. Yeah, so she must have been in Madison County. And so they had all those wooden bridges. Now, the bridges have actually been destroyed and rebuilt, So they're not the original bridges. Or is only me in here? Yeah, there's nobody else in here right now. Who is it? Me, yeah, there's only one person in here right now. So we had a bunch earlier. And so the Bridges of Madison County was a love story. So it was more, I think it was a fantasy of a lonely housewife, and she didn't get along very well with her husband. I think they argued some. They had two little girls, and so he took the girls to the fair, and his wife stayed home by herself. She just wanted a little bit of time by herself. And lo and behold, comes along this photographer out in the country. I mean, how? And so she befriended him, and they had a little fling. That's all I'm going to say about it. They had a little fling, a little love spat together, a little romance. And that's where I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's perfectly good to say that. They did. They had a little romance together. And so she was married. And so she was one of these devout, well, I believe, was she from Sweden? I don't remember, but he was a National Geographic photographer, and he said that his life was really, really exciting, and he went on all these different journeys and missions across the United States, taking pictures for the National Geographic magazine. And I thought, gosh, that would be kind of fun to be able to do something like that, you know? I mean, he was living in hotels, and I don't know who paid for him, if he was freelance, but he said he worked. What he said in the movie was that he worked for the National Geographic magazine. So I think it was an advertisement back then during the Bridges of Madison County for the National Geographic magazine. And so he was going around to different places taking pictures. I think he was taking pictures of the bridges. And so it was it was a fun, it was a love story. I like love stories. I like happy endings. So if you want to sue me over that, sue me over love stories and happy endings. I will forever be a hopeless romantic thinking that the girl and the guy, the happy ending ever after, should be ever after, but it doesn't work out that way in all circumstances. You know, realistically it doesn't, but you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, that's how we were brought up, kind of, was to have this belief. You know, we were a little bit influenced by some of the things we saw on TV. Happily ever after, right? I think that we were. I think I was. I'm pretty positive I was. Happily ever after. And, you know, it feels kind of good for me to be able to kind of go back into that feeling of feeling and thinking of happily ever after, even though it may not ever happen. But you know what? The only life I have is my own life. And I can create my own happily ever after by myself. If that's what it's supposed to be, then that's what it's going to be, is a happily ever after for myself. And, and I feel my brain feels a whole lot better this past week than what it's felt in a long time. And it feels good kind of just to feel and to be going in a different direction and to be in a place that has positive energy. Um, because anybody who has been around the negative energy, you know what I'm talking about. That's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to bring that in. Well, I'll think the whole country has kind of been in that funk. And, everybody has been in that funk at some point or another. And there's a lot of things that happen. So that's all I'm going to say right now. Okay, let me see what some of the comments are. She is innocent like a frog and a bird. Um, who is innocent? My little creature here? Yeah. I like that. I think that is so much fun. I don't think I'm going to add another wing. Maybe this is a wing and this is a wing. Well, but it's got to have a body though, doesn't it? I love that. I just love it. I was going to call it a dove. Um, but I kind of like it just how it is. Don't arrest me for having uh, my delusions, my delusions. Well, the thing, it's just a saying. A lot of people, well, when I was a kid, we said that all the time. Arrest me for having this thought. It was just something that we said, and that's what a lot of people don't like the happily ever after scenario because it doesn't reflect reality. And for me, it doesn't reflect reality. But, you know, if that's what I want, if that's what I need to live the rest of my life is thinking of something happily ever after, my happily ever after might just be with myself. So if other people, I hope other people can make it. I really do. I've always wished that well for other people. It's like I don't think anybody's marriage should end. If people think that they can make it and they're happy together, I wish them all the best. I really do. I wanted that for myself, for my own marriages to last, but because of circumstances that are deal breakers with marriages, they didn't. They didn't. And mine wasn't a simple case of, well, I'm not going to talk about it. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about it. So, um, but that's just where I am. I'm trying, working really hard to just recover on my own from traumatic circumstances. And that's just where I am. I mean, so for me, it feels good just to feel good. For me, it does. If just a change of environment from something else, it just feels good just to feel good. It really does. And to be in a really, um, positive place. I mean, it feels positive, the energy, and it's like I don't want to be that downer person, but at the same time, it's like my body language could present that, but it's not intended to. It's just intended to. I'm trying to mind my own business and not be in other people's business. That that's all it is more than anything. So it's the thing. It's so funny. I saw this video, um, was it, yeah, yesterday, I think it was, so it was about the thing of other trying to make other people happy, which we never can. But what it was related to was, now when you try to talk to someone, they don't want to hear from you. They want to shut you off and they want to deflect you to something else. Well, then when you decide to be quiet and not talk, well, that upsets them too. And it's like, well, this is a lose-lose situation as far as that goes, So I know there's a lot of people like that, So, but right now I'm still going to take on that notion of, and I was watching this attorney on YouTube too. I don't know if he's a real attorney or not, but he claims he was, and he was talking about when he's dealing with something where he needs to de-escalate something. He said what he does is he takes a breath, and then he pauses before he says anything. And he says pausing and not talking causes discomfort for someone who has a lot to say. So it's that thing, if you just ignore someone, so they say something to you and you just ignore them, so say it's let's say it's a coworker you have to work with at work who's annoying, and or even a boss, that's kind of overbearing of some sort, and you can just take a breath and sort of ignore them, so if they're just saying hi or they're just getting in your personal business. I've had that happen where bosses have gotten in my personal business, and I didn't want to tell them about my personal life, and but I didn't, there was just some things that I would talk about, but for the most part I would kind of ignore them. And there was just things that I just thought was inappropriate and I just didn't want to talk about. For me, it was inappropriate to feel like I wanted to talk about that with a boss at work. I literally had a boss one time who was asking me, he was a male, and he was asking me what kind of men I liked. And I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him. But he was and it's like, well, what difference does it make? And it's like, a man is a man, isn't he? What difference does it? But he was alluding to other things, and I thought, well, that's really none of your business what kind of man I like. Why are you so curious about that? And I was at that point at that time, because it was on a military base, and I thought, well, gosh, I deserve to be married to a officer, like a captain or a major. I was even thinking general at that time too, but I was being a gold digger because I was thinking about the money side of things, because I knew I needed to be taken care of, and I knew I wasn't. And so I just went off and into La La Land, and I was by myself. And so I went through a period of at least 5 years before I got into another relationship, because, it's like when you come off of bad relationships, you do need some time to yourself before getting back into another one, but it's very hard. That's the biggest problem right now. It's very hard because there's not services for people, for women. So it makes life harder on the woman and the child when there's kids involved. It makes it harder on the woman when she's by herself too. And then she's inclined to want to get involved with a man again. And that's the kind of society we have for women, is learned helplessness. And oh my gosh, I was on another live stream yesterday, and there's this guy. I like going on his live stream, but he kind of irritated me because he's like, well, I always let you come back on my live stream. But he ended it early. I think it was because of the line of questioning, and, but he goes into it his own self. He goes into it, and then he doesn't like the things that I have to say. And so when I say that I threw that out there, and I said, well, marriage is learned helplessness for women. When you don't pay women equally to that of men, then it becomes learned helplessness for women. And oh my gosh, that made him so mad. It set him off. And I'm like, what in the world? What kind of nerve did I hit there? I mean, it's like I'm always hitting nerves of people on the internet. Now, they were doing protesting in Portland last night too. So I went in and I said one thing. I said one thing in the live stream, and they're like, well, we're going to call the police on you. And I'm thinking, for leaving a comment? And then someone was writing something about, oh, I don't know who it was to. They were writing about being bullied or something like that. And and I thought, if they're out there now, these guys in Portland, they were being really, really mean. I thought they were. So they were just out there showboating and saying mean things like they always do and being kind of aggressive in their dialogue. And I thought, and what I said is, I said, you know what? You're doing a disservice to the YouTube community. That's what I said. That set them off. When I said you're doing a disservice to the YouTube community in what you're doing, I said, legacy media is not out there. You guys are the ones out there, and you're giving YouTube a bad name. Oh my gosh, they got mad when I said that. I said, you're literally giving YouTube a bad name. And so, but it's the networks. I believe it's the legacy media networks, and I call them that. I don't know how much of traditional media is involved with the YouTube legacy media, if any at all. Well, I wouldn't be surprised that they've hired them before to do things, but I think they know they're losing their standing within the algorithm. And I think eventually they'll die out. I really do. I think they'll die out. Maybe at some point someone will try to bring them back again. But once you've had a taste of doing things by yourself, so it's the same thing as marriage. So think of marriage as, okay, the man goes to work, he gets money. The woman doesn't go to work, she gets no money. She stays at home. She might be raising kids, she might be cleaning a house, but she's married. She's not doing a service for the husband. When you get married, you're not doing a service for the husband at all. You're married. There's nothing that says in your marriage vows of anything that you have to do for a man. There's no expectations of anything. It's just because you care about each other and you like each other and you want to be around each other. That is the only reason. Now, a lot of men don't have that thought process because they want to place expectations on the woman that they never told her about. And that's what they do. That's what they will do, which that's scary when they do that. Let's see what this says. God bless you. Have a blessed day. Thank you, Foxy. Thank you guys for stopping by. I think I'm going to be done here soon. And we're going to, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching.